Hi friends, and welcome to a Homemaker's Bookshelf, the cozy corner of the internet where we talk about books we're staying way too late to finish. I'm Christian, and around here we share honest book thoughts, cozy reading moments, and the stories that make us laugh, gasp, or immediately text a friend and say, "You have to read this." Whether you're listening while folding laundry, baking something in the kitchen, rocking a baby, or curled up with your favorite coffee and a good book, I am so glad that you're here. So grab your favorite drink, get comfortable, and let's talk about today's book. Today's episode is all about The Housemaid by Freida McFadden. And before we get into it, this is your official spoiler warning. If you have not read the book yet and you want to experience the twists for yourself, pause this episode, go read it, listen to my previous episode that is spoiler free, and then come back because we are talking about everything. All the secrets, the manipulation, and that ending. All right, let's get into it. So a quick recap for anybody that has not read it in a while. The story follows Millie, a woman recently released from prison who is desperate for a fresh start. She lands a job working as a live-in housemaid for a wealthy Winchester family. At first, it seems like the perfect opportunity. Am I right? The house is huge, the pay is really good, and it feels like Millie might finally be able to rebuild her life. But almost immediately, the attic, it starts to feel off. So let's dig a little deeper into each character. We're going to start off with Millie. So Millie obviously has been in prison. She is down on her luck, living in her car, and at first, I kind of felt bad for her, but I kind of didn't. At the same time, Nina is Millie's employer, and she is very strange. One minute, she is so kind, so generous, like, "I can't wait for you to start, you're the perfect fit." And next, she is completely unpredictable. She throws tantrums, she leaves messes everywhere, ruins the dinners, and constantly humiliates her husband, Andrew. From Millie's perspective, Nina seems very unstable and maybe even dangerous. And honestly, when I was reading it, I started to believe it. So Andrew is Nina's husband, and he seems so perfect in the beginning of the book. He is calm, he is polite, handsome, and clearly exhausted by Nina's behavior. He confides in Millie, he thanks her for helping with the house, he helps her clean messes up, and he even starts to seem like one who just needs to be rescued from his terrible marriage. And there you have it, a slowly building tension between Millie and Andrew. So I already mentioned it before, the attic. The attic creeps me the fuck out. If I was Millie and I had this gut feeling from the interview about that room, I would have never taken the job. I don't care how much money it offered. I would have just stayed living in my car and found something else. Because the fact that the window was sealed shut, I understand that fresh air is for dead people, according to my lovely podcasters, the weirdos over at Morbid Podcast. But I need to know that my window will at least open in case of an emergency. Like, no thank you. And then when she moved in and realized that the door handle is flipped to where someone could lock her in that room, no thank you. I would have packed my stuff up and been gone, not stayed whatsoever. I don't know about you guys, but I was screaming at the book, "Millie, you need to leave. Millie, you need to leave." It was absolutely terrifying. But the unsettling part was realizing out of all of this that somebody has used that room before to trap people in it. And I don't know about y'all, but I, from the beginning, just kind of had a feeling that it was Nina that locked her maids in there at night because she was the jealous wife that didn't want her husband to cheat, and so on and so forth. Halfway through the book, I know there's other characters, but those are the three main characters, so we're just going to stick with them. But halfway through the book, we discovered that Nina was not the villain. So I want to know how you guys felt about the switch in perspectives halfway through the book. Because at first, I did not necessarily like it. I was like, why leave us on that cliffhanger and then switch perspectives? But then once we saw Nina's side of the story, I understood why Freida McFadden did what she did. It was genius, in my opinion, once I finally started reading through Nina's side of everything and finding out that Andrew was actually the manipulating villain throughout this entire time of them being married. He was abusive and controlling and very, very, very dangerous. He had previously locked Nina in the attic and isolated her and controlled her and everyone around them. So Nina wasn't crazy, she was just desperate. Once Millie learns the truth, Nina reveals that she hired Millie on purpose. She needed someone strong enough and desperate enough to help her escape from Andrew's grip on her entire life. So together they came up with a plan, and this is where the book becomes incredibly satisfying. Millie turns the table. Andrew, who spent years controlling and imprisoning others, becomes the one that is trapped. And eventually, dun-dun-dun, he dies in the attic. The same room that he tortured Nina in. And honestly, it is one of the moments where you just sit there thinking, wow, okay, yep, he absolutely deserved that. So what made The Housemaid so addictive to me was the pacing. Every chapter ends with just enough tension that you have to keep reading. And the perspective shift halfway through completely flipped the story. You start thinking that Nina is the problem in the book. And then obviously, by the end, you realize that the real monster was hiding behind the perfect husband act the entire time. For me, this book was an easy 4.5 stars. It was fast, creepy, twisty, and perfect if you love like the psychological thrillers that keep you guessing. I read this book in 3 days. I could not put it down, and I want to know if it was the same with you. Did you expect the twist that was coming? Were you shocked when everything flipped halfway through? Please let me know. And if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to follow the podcast so you don't miss the next book discussion. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and I will see you in the next chapter.